Hello, and welcome to Recapping with Delora
and Ashley.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Recapping Podcast.
Also, rate, review, and subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all the things.
We want to hear your thoughts on the movies and shows we review.
Leave us a comment on Apple Podcasts or our YouTube channel, and we will read them during the show.
Or reach out to us on social media. We love talking all things entertainment and pop culture with you.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
Delora, by the time this episode drops, we're officially one day away from Renaissance Act 2, Part 2, whatever you want to call it, Cowboy Carter dropping. Are you excited?
So I knew this day was coming. And again, I'm surprised. I am shocked that Beyonce is actually talking to us. Like when she dropped her little picture collage thing, I think that was on Tuesday or Monday, or it might have been Monday. I was like, oh, look at that. Okay, this is cute. And then today, which is Wednesday, we get a freaking track list. I was like, a track list? Beyonce? Like, girl, I'm not used to this buildup. I'm used to her dropping things and her turning off her phone and computer and going on vacation somewhere. You know? Like, yeah. we get name drops like Dolly, Willie. Like, I saw Blackbird and I was like, yo, that's one of my favorite freaking songs by the Beatles. And then, of course, Jolene.
Yep.
What is she trying to do to us? What is she doing?
She just said all this time, I've been doing these surprise drops and everything. I'm just going to, get y'all salivating again for what's to come. Before it's like, surprise, we didn't know, we rush. Now it's like, I'm just going to give you some gems, some breadcrumbs until we get to this official date where y'all can stream the music. So you posted the track list today. I've seen it as well. The rumors obviously are true that she's doing a cover of Jolene. As usual, some of her song titles surprised me. I'm like, what is this song going to be? Because I remember when we got the track list for part 1 and I was like, what is Plastic Off the Sofa mean? And then it was my absolute favorite song on the album.
What exactly is an alien superstar? Please explain.
Like spaghetti. What does that mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm curious and excited that, we get a chance to see a glimpse of what's to come. And I'm just ready for these vocals. I'm ready to hear this production. I'm ready to immerse myself in the experience. And I'm shout out to them Black Mamas. I know they're doing a listening party and appreciate and love y'all for that. We will definitely be communicating as well after we've gotten a chance to listen to it. But just so y'all know, I'm going to be in a car somewhere riding out to this when it drops, because I got to give it that good old car listen. It ain't going to be the same.
Shout out to the Chitlin Circuit reference in terms of how the track list is looking. Like, this is how back in the day, the Chitlin Circuit, for those who may not know, Black artists, whenever they were in the South, going to the Black establishments usually associated with Black artists, this is what their advertisement used to look like. So she has a call back in that history as well. So it should be fun. I'm going to do what I did for Renaissance. I sat down with my good headphones. I had a pen and paper, and I wrote down the title of the songs in order and my initial thoughts to it. I still have it to this day.
Like, listen, I'm getting prepared for a class that I'm going to teach on my thoughts. That's how you did it. I don't remember what I did for part 1. I don't remember what I did. I don't remember how my listening experience was, but I just remember feeling good. That was the main gist for me from part 1, is it made me happy. Yeah, it just made me so happy. And like I said, Plastic Off the Sofa, as soon as the I was obsessed. So I'm just looking forward to my next obsession. So,
It was her spelling unique out. I was like, did she just spell unique?
uh-huh.
U-N-I. Oh, love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
All I know is I can't afford to keep buying these concert tickets, okay? Because I already just bought tickets to see Janae Aiko on her The Magic Hour tour because I love Janae Aiko. I already bought tickets for Usher. I got this. We gonna see about this. It's like for those who did not catch part one, yes, you better go see her for sure. But for me, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go see part two if she does another tour. Are you excited and would you pay to see part two?
I'm not in a rush right now. No.
Mm-hmm.
However,
We
I
did
feel
the
like
thing. We did the
we
thing with
did
part one.
we sure did. Now, am I going to be peer pressured in getting tickets if she were to go on tour for Act Two? Probably yes. Because what I'm not going to be like is everybody who was left out of Renaissance. Everybody talking about how expensive it was, but guess who was front and center? And that
Yeah.
I don't want to be like that one woman left at home.
FOMO. Don't want that FOMO. That's funny because I'm the same. Like there's not a lot that I feel FOMO about, but I do feel FOMO about missing major cultural experiences. That's why I said I think missing Usher in Vegas is gonna haunt me forever because it's a major cultural experience that I would have loved to have. And so Beyonce is another one. Like if Act Two ends up blowing up and being what part one, Act One was, yeah, I don't know. But leave that, please, Beyonce. Give me till 2025 because I've
I was
spent
gonna
enough
say
on
she doesn't need to
concerts.
do it. She doesn't need to do it this year.
Yeah, I spent
I
enough
I
on concerts.
I apparently need a cowboy hat because everyone's got one. And I'm speaking to Rihanna on the cover of freaking Vogue China wearing a
Yeah.
cowboy hat. Shakira is promoting her new album wearing a cowboy hat. So apparently this is the moment. And I need to up my wardrobe, Ashley.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had I'm pretty sure I had cowgirl boots at one point in my life, but I don't think I've ever had a cowgirl hat. I don't know. I don't know if I'm much of a hat person, but if I were to go to the show, oh, we whipping it all out. At least I would be comfortable. If are cowgirl boots comfortable? Maybe if you after you break them in.
I think a break-in process is needed.
Yeah,
Yes.
for that genuine leather. Yeah. We'll see what happens, guys. We hope you are excited. We obviously will be coming back to the mic with our thoughts. I don't even know if we're going to be able to wait long at all to really share. So make sure y'all hop on it that first week because we're going to have to be dropping some thoughts and some reviews.
Pretty much. Pretty
Yeah.
much.
So come back to us for that. But this was the start of the pod. We not even into the headlines and hot topics, guys. So thank you so much for coming back and joining us. It is our usual Thursday headlines and hot topics. And as y'all know, there's been some stuff going on in these streets.
Mm-hmm.
Two major hot topics since the last
Girl.
time we even spoke about
I mean, I can't
the
even
streets.
tell you how hot these are. Like
Lava. To go back to the damsel recap, hot lava. It's been interessante. But let's start with our headlines. So Rebel Wilson and Sasha Baron Cohen have a thing because Rebel Wilson is about to be coming out with a book. And apparently in this book, in this memoir, she mentions, and I'm looking at a People article, that Sasha Baron Cohen humiliated her on set in a graphic account. He is denying it, saying that it is demonstrably false. But she's basically saying that on the 2016 comedy, The Brothers Grimsey, that they starred in together, that he tried to coerce her to get naked in a scene, which she told him she refused to do. She doesn't do nudity. And then he also pulled his pants down and tried to get her to stick her finger up his butt, which she told him she was not going to do either. And the compromise was instead she slapped him on the butt and improvised a few lines. And then apparently his reps, and he is saying that there are people around who can, deny that that's not what happened. There was a scene where it was implied that she was doing that, but that was never going to actually happen as a part of the acting of the scene. So there's been a bit of back and forth. I know this first came to my attention on social media when they were saying, oh, Rebel Wilson is about to name some actor and he's lawyering up and doing this and that. Had
Yes.
no idea
Hmm.
who she was talking about. So to find out it's Sasha Baron Cohen, I was like, oh, I didn't remember they did a movie together. Apparently, she refused to even do press for this film after what she went through. But what were your thoughts when you saw this headline?
I was like, oh, look at that. Hmm. I don't really care. Like Sasha Baron Cohen, I mean, I am not saying this to justify his behavior, but I I'm aware of him. I am aware of his lady love, and I am not a big fan of most of his projects. I don't care for that humor. And then Rebel is annoying, to put it plainly. Through the years, yes, I've watched her on Pitch Perfect, but her being the butt of her joke, being overweight, just wasn't funny to me. And especially after she makes claims of being like the only plus size actress to have a rom-com. I'm like, Queen Latifah's like right there.
Mm,
So what are you talking about? You know what I mean?
hmm
So when I saw this, I was like, oh, two foreign actors I don't care about you.
Tell us how you really feel, Delora. You know what it was for me is I was like, first of all, what are you writing in a memoir? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's so interesting to me when people feel like they've reached a point in their lives when they want to write about their life. It's like, what
Yes.
is going to go into this book? Let alone I wasn't expecting there to be anything like super salacious that would have been the animus of like somebody else in Hollywood and
Yeah.
all these headlines and stuff about it. So now I'm curious, like, what else is going to be in your book now? So if it was supposed to draw up interest, it has. Now, obviously, if she went through this experience and she says she feels like it was, traumatic and all those things, I feel for her. Hopefully she wouldn't experience anything like that on sets in the future and beyond this
Right.
event. But I mean,
Yeah.
we even just had the lady who starred in a film with Johnny Depp talking about how negative of an experience she had with him and how he, spoke to her crazy and all these things. So it's obviously not unusual to hear about bad behavior on sets and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. To your point, Sasha is seems like he's could be highly inappropriate based on the types of skits and humor and satire that he puts in things like Borat and stuff. But obviously, if you're making your coworkers uncomfortable, if you are causing friction on set, those things need to be dealt with. And I think people are having a little less tolerance for them than maybe they used to have before. Especially because now
Right.
you have platforms and outlets and social media and all these things where your bad behavior is talked about on a larger scale and perpetuated through word of mouth. And then, hey, she said, though, she's not trying to get him canceled. That was one of the things she said. She said, that's not my motivation. I'm sharing my story because the more women talk about things like this, hopefully, the less it happens. So, curious to see how this is resolved, especially if it ends up becoming litigious.
Well, the second headline that makes this memoir interesting is her talking about losing her virginity at 35. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I think I just saw that, which I was like, so how old is she right now? In her 40s?
She's 44 now, and I'm looking at people.com. She says she wants to take the pressure off other late bloomers by sharing her story. So,
Okay. I mean, I don't know if that's going to keep anybody's draws on or off, but if you want to share your story, you are more than welcome to.
I mean, that's the beauty of your story, right? It's
Yep.
it's your life, is your experience. But honestly, Sasha is bringing more attention to it than what it probably would have done by
Well, yeah,
itself.
again, if he's lawyering up and is like, yo, I'm going to sue you. I mean, I guess who would even know he cared this much about his reputation? But this is different because it's beyond a role. It is
Yes.
serious accusations of behind the scenes bad behavior. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's move on to our next headline. Kristen Quinn, love to hate her from her seasons as a villain on the reality Netflix hit real estate series Selling Sunset. Um, Shockingly, we saw headlines and pictures last week that her husband had been arrested. What looked like they didn't even give him an opportunity to put on clothes. He was out there in a bathrobe and he was arrested on charges of, I guess, domestic abuse, in the sense that he allegedly threw something at Christine, and instead of hitting her, it hit their young son. And as a result of that, he was arrested, released, and then he violated a protective order and got rearrested. And now he has filed a restraining order against her, and she has filed one against him.
Mm.
Apparently, she has laid out a series of incidents that happened, including him peeing on the floor, throwing feces at her, just creating a very chaotic and crazy household, essentially, that created fear and abuse and all those things on the part of her and her son. So this has definitely gone in a direction we didn't foresee. We saw their wedding on Selling Sunset before she left the show. They were starting
Yeah.
a new business together, all these things. And this just really taking a turn. Now, again, I could not stand Christine on Selling Sunset. I'm gonna be completely honest about that. But obviously, this is alarming and concerning. What did you think about these stories and allegations when you've been hearing about it and seeing the headlines?
Well, when I first heard about it, I was thinking like, oh my goodness, like if an incident's happening and the baby ends up getting hurt by it, this sounds like potentially a situation of existing domestic violence, because it's like, well, now the cops are called because the baby is involved type of deal, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but I have to say, I was looking at people.com, and this one article is like all his side. And he basically said there was no history of domestic violence. He claims that he got tired of cleaning up after her dogs,
Mm-hmm.
and he threw a bag against the wall, but not towards her. And this is his basis of, filing a restraining order and making sure that she doesn't abduct their son, quote unquote. So I don't know. I wonder if it's going to end up being one of those he said, she said situations.
Right.
And, it'll be interesting what ultimately will unfold.
Indeed. I mean, the version of events that she's laid out is he has mental health issues. He faked a suicide attempt at one point. Just a lot going on. So whether or not this will come down to he said, she said, I'm not sure, especially if there's any type of proof. Because I think in one of the articles I read, one of them I have up is page 6. There may have been some type of footage captured or something to be able to demonstrate some of the things that were said. But again, I was shocked initially because it would have never thought that this is how potentially this would have gone down in her marriage based on what, again, we saw of them on the series. But
You
you
don't
just
know how
never
people
know.
live.
Yeah, you
People
just never
assume
know.
people are quote unquote normal,
Yeah,
but that is not always the case.
absolutely. So another story we'll have to sit back and see what unfolds. But, just hoping that folks are taking care of themselves and, doing what they need to do if there is a domestic violence situation going on. So let's move on to our final headline. Delora, Quiet on the Set, a new documentary series currently available to stream via Discovery Plus and Max. It's basically discussing multiple revelations about the hot Nickelodeon era of the 90s and the 2000s. And there are former child actors in this documentary series that allege a variety of abuses and toxic behavior, from All That, The Amanda Show, Drake and Josh, and Victorious, claims of racism, bullying in the workplace, to horrifying accounts of alleged sexual assault. So basically, darkness behind, what we thought that Nickelodeon was. Particularly Drake Bell has come out and discussed the abuse that he had at the hands of Brian Peck, who worked with a lot of the kids as like a dialogue coach. He had not been named in a suit that went against him, I guess, a few years back, and now is, really telling his version inside of events. I feel like that's what I've seen the most of via social media. I have not gotten a chance to watch this documentary. I literally just saw Kenan Thompson speaking about his thoughts on it and about Amanda Bynes on Tamron Hall's show. I saw a
Mhm.
clip of that, and it just really was upsetting. I mean, obviously, anytime you talk about child sexual assault and sexual abuse, it is completely disturbing. But I think for us, being that we were children at the height of Nickelodeon's era and really enjoyed a lot of these shows. I mean, I still quote all that. People still quote uh Dear Ashley, that's me to me all the time. Uh
Really?
yes. I mean, it just it's very, very upsetting to think about what some of these children and young people were going through behind the scenes of shows that we absolutely loved. So have you gotten a chance to watch the documentary, and what did you think about this?
I did not watch the documentary. My best friend though had, and she was just pretty much like, "You need to watch this." In all transparency, I actually didn't watch a lot of Nickelodeon. I didn't have cable at that time, so I was aware of the popular shows, but I didn't get a chance to get to know it as intimately as like I knew, the ABC lineup for TGIF. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
Or one Saturday morning.
one Saturday morning. But with that being said, it is just heartbreaking. But I'm also happy that they have a platform to tell their story,
Yeah.
because keeping that all inside, bottled up inside, is not healthy and is not okay. You know what I mean? And I think we talked about this on the podcast several times before. It's like it's a lot to be said about these kid actors and how many of them are able to seemingly get out, come out of it unscathed. And honestly, that number is really, really low. You know what I mean?
Yep. And we've talked about the why behind that, right? But this
Yes.
is a different level that
Oh,
I had
absolutely.
not factored into the
Consider
equation.
absolutely, absolutely, because you hear about these young people, quote unquote, growing up fast because of, for some of them they are the breadwinners of their household, or
Correct.
for others. And so it's like that type of pressure, and growing up in those type of environments for an undeveloped brain is a lot.
Hmm.
So it's just horrific, and I hope they get justice. I truly do.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the true fallout is going to be for this, if anything. I mean, a lot of this fell onto the shoulders of Dan Schneider, who was a producer. I remember him being on screen quite a bit
Yes.
during the era of these shows. And he was let go from the network in 2018 after allegations of inappropriate behavior surfaced. I know he's spoken out since and said, kind of, oh, I owe some apologies type thing. But I don't know. I'm really starting to feel some type of way about kids just being in Hollywood and just acting in general, because I just don't know if you
Girl.
can ever
Girl.
truly protect them from the elements that are possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, even parents who are very involved, actively involved on the sets and stuff, that can still only go so far because you put them in this environment. To your point,
Right.
not just being the breadwinner, but just being in an adult situations and an adult world working in this capacity, even if it's fun for them to a certain extent because they're enjoying the work that they do. I don't know, it's always going to be exploitative, right? Because children should never be put in a position where they're supporting financially adults and families and all these things. And so I don't know, that plus the coupling with the you're putting them around potential pedophiles and people who want to take advantage of them. And I
Girl.
mean, the deterioration of Amanda Bynes alone breaks my heart,
Absolutely.
let alone what could have happened
Absolutely.
to any of these other children. Like, Keenan looked like he was going to cry talking about Amanda.
He used to know her and work with her. And when I saw that interview as well, and when they put that picture of a young Amanda smiling, it almost took me out, because it's
Yeah.
like, how far have we come? Like, from that to where we are now. That's why we treat her and Brittany with kid gloves, honestly.
Absolutely. We know them. We know them to the extent that you can know any superstar or personality who you've seen from a young age, grew up in front of you and have such stardom and have such talent. And then
Right.
watch them unravel. I mean, Brittany, right again, saw her since the Mickey Mouse Club, saw her grow up, became a superstar, and then watch that unravel. Amanda Bynes, still enjoying her from She's the Man and Easy A, and then all of a
Yes.
sudden just what is
Yes.
happening? So I
Right.
mean, yeah, it's tough. It's tough for me. Like I was a Nickelodeon kid strong, even the cartoons, Doug, Rugrats, everything. And so again, it's very alarming to me. And I don't know what the answers are because obviously I don't think there's ever going to be a time where children just don't appear on screen at all, in stories and in storytelling. But hopefully they can figure something out. I think I heard Van on Higher Learning mention something about there needs to be like some objective board or council created in Hollywood that has oversight over children's uh health and well-being, and maybe that's a start or a step for them in
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
But again, to what extent they can really, beyond people reporting things, change anything, I don't know. So we'll have to see. I have not watched the documentary. I literally just canceled my Max again. So I have to catch this sometime in the future. And I'm just wishing for the best for the babies. So that's all I got. Let's move on to our two major hot topics today. Kate Middleton. We have talked about Kate for the last couple of weeks because it was the where in the world is Kate Middleton? Seemed like there was Photoshop things making us believe that, all was not as it appeared. There was the video of them going to the grocery store, all the things. And so Kate hopped on a video and announced that she was diagnosed with cancer. After that abdominal surgery that she had, they tested and it came back that she did have cancer. And so she has just started her chemotherapy treatments. And the reason why she obviously has had an extended break is because of that, as well as, trying to figure out the best ways to go about navigating it with her family and her three young children that she shares with Prince William. So I feel like this definitely quells the suspicions and questions about everything. But what does this say that two royals are both battling cancer right now? What does that say for what may be happening in general in like health? Because now everybody's like, why are younger people at an alarming rates getting cancer?
Right. Right.
Um, and then also, what does this mean, obviously, for those in England who are impacted for the future of the monarchy, that you would have both the king and the future queen, going through these serious health issues. So it's definitely sad to hear that Kate is going through a health crisis, a major health crisis, and wishing them the best. But what, as our royal watcher of the pod, say you, Delora?
I say maybe this is why they were trying to avoid talking about it. Like the communication for Kate for these last few months have been outrageously mishandled. And the only people who should be blamed for the hoopla is their PR because they are supposed to be in charge of the narrative and they lost all control.
Yeah.
I feel like part of it was them not wanting to tell people about Kate. I do think some of that is a factor. Whether or not it's for selfish reasons in terms of wanting to keep the empathy on the king and attention on the king, and or the question you pose, what does this mean for the monarchy to have two major players deal with such serious health event, right? I don't know what that means. I think it's interesting. It was interesting because the whole point for King Charles's reign was to slim down the monarchy. Part of the reason why they were trying to get rid of Prince Harry and Meghan. But now I feel like they could have definitely benefited from having their presence there. Granted, there's a lot of politics and strong emotions on that. But I don't know. It's not a comforting look in terms of the mainstay of the monarchy when it comes to their contributions to England and the Commonwealth in terms of their role of being public figures, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But cancer sucks. This is sad. I hope she gets well as he. But outside of this health concern, I do feel like the time is ticking on the British monarchy in terms of its relevancy.
Yeah. You mentioned to me offline that you felt like William should have taken part in the announcement. Why do you think he didn't?
Girl, because I believe he's probably cheating on Kate. That I do not deny. Allegedly. But when sis was like with William by my side, I'm like, Harry would never let Meghan make such a major announcement by herself on a bench. And this is the petty side of me coming out. First of all, the bench thing, not to say that Meghan and Harry invented it, but since they moved to California, them in front of their big ass tree in that bench has been a mainstay for any like major announcements or any type of speeches. And I always find it interesting for Kensington Palace to hate everything Meghan and Harry does, but somehow the current monarchs so happen to copy them one way or another, whether social media, clothes, that's a whole rabbit hole there too. And now the bench. But I'm like, if you gonna copy them, you might as well William should have been there holding his wife's hand, looking like a supportive husband.
I mean, I think it was a good question or point when you raised it because I was thinking, like, yeah, man, even Will didn't let Jada go out by herself at the red table. You know what I'm saying? And that was
Yeah.
something she had planned to do alone. So maybe it was, Kate was like, hey, I just want to handle this by myself. I totally understand if that was the case. But no, I do think it is fair to wonder where he was during this. I mean, historic. I've never seen anything like it, announcement that she had to make.
Never. And mind you, she already was thrown under the figurative bus when it was his picture that was dissected across the world for that Mother's Day post.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh no, it was me, Photoshop. Stop it. You said William took the picture. Where's William now? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, part of me really felt bad because I'm like, dang, the pressure to have to reveal something a serious health issue that you may not have felt ready to have to talk about. Because even a People article I have up, a lot of people who are close to them allegedly or not had not been told yet, right? That's how close they were keeping it to like the vest.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Mm-hmm.
she's young, 42, healthy. It was
Right.
shocking to get this type of news. So to feel like, hey, I wasn't ready to really talk about it yet, but because of all the speculation, I have to. To your point, I do think that there could have been more that their team and the folks who this is their job to handle could have potentially done to help quell this so that she had more time. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And I do wish her a very speedy recovery, her and King Charles, and hope that they're able to, get on the mend because, again, crazy to me to think that they both were at the same hospital, had to get surgery, and then
Right.
they're both now battling cancer. So,
But I really do feel like they decided to just go ahead and make the announcement because people started hacking into the hospital trying to get
yeah,
records.
people tried to get her
Yeah.
medical records.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was crazy. So, we will get back on that if there are any other announcements. But for now, wishing them both, like I said, a very speedy recovery with their health issues. All right, our final hot topic. Oh my gosh. The story that continues on and on and on. You sent me this, and I was like, I don't even what has even happened now? Diddy, his homes in LA and Miami got raided. And basically it comes down to these continued sex trafficking allegations. Now
Girl.
it's drug trafficking. Now it's firearms. Now it's the federale coming. And we see images of Justin and Christian in handcuffs, and Diddy is nowhere to be found, right? All of a
Girl.
sudden, it's like,
Whew.
where's Diddy? His private plane is in the Caribbean somewhere. Is he on it? He got a
Right.
white boy, 25 years old, who's allegedly a drug mule.
Apparently.
We got footage of him outside of Miami International, pacing, waiting on somebody. I'm like, we got Young Miami now getting named as allegedly also being somebody who trafficked drugs for him. What the fuck is going on?
It's a shit show. It's unbelievable. Like, life and death is in the power of the tongue. He's been saying he's been a bad boy all these years. Roosters are coming to roost. Okay. So is the chickens coming to roost? What is the saying?
Chickens.
Actually?
It's chickens. Because it's like now you also, all those people who have been so tight-lipped, neither supporting nor claiming that there were situations going on, people are starting to loosen those lips. Torre came out and talked about a relative of his who he got an internship, who abruptly no longer worked with Diddy because Diddy said either come back and spend the night with me or you can go. And the relative, a male, said, I've got to go. You have another reporter who's been in Hollywood in the game and entertainment for 25 years, a woman, saying, I have horrific stories that I could tell about Diddy. It's definitely chips. The dominoes are falling. I've said for a while that I don't think there was ever any coming back from this for him in the world of public opinion, but I'm really starting to think he may end up getting arrested and put in prison for a period of time based on what's happening now. Like, when you have the feds coming and raiding through your house to this extent, I feel like they already know what they're looking for and they're going to charge you with something. Even though he continues to claim he's innocent.
Have a high conviction
rate. 95%.
So by the time, yes, by the time they come rolling up, you're guilty of something.
95% conviction rate, baby. If they take this, it's over. It's a wrap. You definitely going to prison.
He was guilty when he paid Cassie so quickly? It wasn't even a cool 24 hours.
It wasn't. It was like in the dead of night. They made a deal because by the next morning, somehow it's like they've settled it. But you see, obviously, that NDA ain't that ironclad because her lawyer still came out with a statement.
Yep.
So, I'm just trying to keep up with everything that's going on. I thought it was crazy that his sons were in cuffs and he wasn't nowhere to be found. He's all about family.
Ashley,
why aren't you protecting your children?
I was like, this man is trash if he's out here. If you're tipped off and you can't even tip off your own children, your own babies are in handcuffs, that means he is about one person and one person only.
Right.
Himself.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy. I was literally like, from the time you sent me that to looking at everything to now you got another lawsuit with him in Cuba as a part of it, right? And a music producer claiming some things. Like, I'm like, these lawsuits, these criminal charges, now you're stacking onto it. Bro, like, I don't think you're going to make it out of this without serving some type of time at this point.
I think he's going to be like Unc, though.
You talking about flee? He going to be like Russell and flee to another country?
Absolutely. I don't see him paying for any of his crimes. I don't.
And if Usher goes over and starts doing yoga with both of them, we might have to
I don't think Usher
go.
Be doing anything with Diddy, though. But yeah, no.
They pulled up the resurfaced clip of him talking about the year that he stayed and how he was saying there were curious things going on.
13 years old. I would never. With my child, I would never.
He said during that interview, they said, would you let your kid? He said, hell no.
There's another clip of him and Justin Bieber talking about, I got him for 48 hours. I got custody of him. We about to do some crazy things.
Don't let the Biebs start talking. If Bieber had a story to tell.
He's another one. Child star going through. I feel like he's still going through it. I feel like he holds on to his wife like like he's clinging on to life. Like
A
seriously.
lifeline. It between her and his religion, which unfortunately
Yes.
his pastor ended up, having all the
Getting
stuff
caught
coming
up
out.
too.
Because I
Yep.
watched that documentary on Carl. Um,
Girl.
yeah,
Hillsong.
yeah, it's just a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I loved me some Diddy musically. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the fact that he had
I don't write
transitioned.
lyrics. I write checks. I mean, he's so integral to our growing up,
Yeah. I
Ashley.
mean, Bad Boy
From
was
our
an era.
television to our movies. He's in freaking
Yes.
Monster Ball, where Miley
Oh, I be forgetting he was in
got the
Monster Ball.
Oscar.
Yeah, but I mean, just in general, you're right. He's so ingrained in the fabric, especially of Black culture, right?
Yes.
It was Bad Boy had such a musical era. You still have Biggie, obviously, that has such a huge impact and still has an impact to this day on rap and music. And he had transitioned over to really being like this lifestyle ambassador in these last few years too, where it's like
Yes.
love and positivity and having a good time and all this stuff. So then for this to be the time that, because I feel like it would have been less shocking had it been in the era of like the Bad Boy feuding East Coast, West Coast ish. It would have been
Right.
less shocking for there to be any type of lewd, lascivious behavior. But now that he
Like him
transitioned
getting
to
caught
this,
up with gun charges when he was with J Lo and she dropped him real quick.
oh yeah, I mean that was a whole trial, right? And still they talk
Yeah.
about Shine was the one who took the fall and all that. And Mace, girl, I've been watching a couple videos of Mace. Mace eating this
Mace.
up.
He is.
Mace is eating it
He
up.
is.
So
Talking
I don't
about
know what's
reparations are coming.
yes, I don't know what's going on, but clearly he is going to be feeling the ramifications of a lot of things for the
His
foreseeable
actions.
future. Yeah.
I was just looking at getting ready for the first Monday in May, and I'm like, damn, he was at the Met Gala. He was hanging out with everybody.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yes. You forget we were just talking about him as a major contender to have potentially bought BET.
Yes.
I mean, Diddy was diddying for a long time. I
I wonder
mean, he
how
was
these
doing his
searches are
thing.
going. If it's the equal amount of Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs. It's getting the same play across the board. Love.
Girl. Yeah, this is about to be crazy. For all of the associates around him, I would be super worried because I don't know how many people are going to have to deal with the fallout
Well, you see
around.
Mary J writing, posting,
Y'all knew me when I had no boundaries.
right, posting these obligatory in social media quotes like,
Shot,
"Don't
shot,
be
shot,
coming
shot.
looking over here."
Yeah, she said I burn bridges as needed. Shots, 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 shots. So
But see, the first time Diddy got in trouble, Naomi and Janet Jackson had just posted some pictures on social media, and then the Cassie stuff came out, and then it was like wiped clean.
don't want no parts. Don't want no parts. I
Now,
mean,
what do you think J and B gonna do?
I don't know because Jay-Z, I think, is gonna try to stay as far away from this issue as he possibly can, right? Again,
Obviously, but he and him
associations.
are buddy
I
buddy.
know. You think there's like a round table of them who were like cool and close, right? Of like that black
Yes.
Hollywood elite. And for sure they
Yep.
were. Now, did they hang at the after hours of the parties? Probably not. They've been hanging tough for a while together with a family. But even Uncle Luke just came out and said, I didn't stay late. Uncle Luke, okay?
Him
Said
of all
him
people.
of all people said, listen, I went to a couple of them parties, but I ain't stay late. Okay, I couldn't tell y'all what they was doing, but I ain't stay late.
But
So
then this is the fall of yet another person because Jay used to be close to R. Kelly back in the day too.
yeah.
The best of both worlds. Remember that tour that ended abruptly?
And this is why we say that there are a lot of ish that happens, especially in the music industry, that I think
Yes.
never comes out because a lot of people are doing ish, right? You ain't gonna
Yep.
tell on R. Kelly if you Diddy because you got your own shit going on.
Exactly.
You know?
But it makes you wonder, is Diddy the fall guy for somebody even bigger?
Who's
Bigger and
bigger?
badder?
Who's
I don't
bigger?
know. I'm just The conspiracy theory was coming out a little bit. No, I'm just joking.
The Illuminati said you're the one that we're gonna let take the downfall today.
Wait, you knew this was on a timeline.
We told you you had 7 years.
Yo, this is just like the show on Netflix, the one you didn't finish. The
house of Usher.
The fall.
The fall of the House of Usher. Absolutely. Yep. And sacrificing the children, Delora. Sacrificing the children.
Wow.
That show was so good. I wish it had not been so crazy because that storyline was so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, the chickens have definitely come home to roost, to go back to your original saying and statement. And man, I don't know. We're going to have to let this one continue to unfold. Like I said, I think it's going to be a lot of chips and dominoes falling as a part of this raid and everything else that's happening. So
yeah,
we'll have to wait and see, girl. But that's it. That's all. We done. Enough of these pop culture streets for now. What are we doing with our recap for next week?
Ashley, we are recapping a brand new movie available on Netflix, Shirley, starring the fabulous, the incomparable Regina King.
Incomparable indeed. Academy Award winning.
Absolutely.
Regina King. Alrighty. Exciting. Looking forward to a little history. The Shirley Chisholm. We'll be back, guys. If you have any thoughts about what we've talked about today, because the pop culture streets are scorching, let us know. Shoot us a DM, shoot us a comment. We'd love to hear it. We'll read it on the pod if necessary. So thank you so much. Share this episode with your friends, family, loved ones, everyone. We will be back. In the meantime, as always, bless.